Hey guys, this is John with Scottsdale Living, and we are here today with Jackie and Ariel. Ariel?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yeah.
From Workshop Pilates. And they have two studios, if I get that right.
Almost two.
Okay, so the new one's opening in April, right?
Yes.
So it's a new Pilates studio in DC Ranch, which is my home, which is really cool. So
Oh,
where is it at in
awesome.
DC Ranch?
It's right on the corner of Pima and Legacy by the
Oh,
AJ's.
yeah,
there.
totally. Right in there.
It's
Okay.
a really beautiful center.
Yeah, it is. I go in there all the time. It's like, I don't know, that one little burger place in the front, though, never seems to
The
really...
spot.
Yeah, is that what it is now?
I think so.
It's been a lot. Like, it goes back and forth,
Oh,
right?
does it?
So,
I haven't
yeah.
been yet.
So this is the question that's really got me, right? So who was the accountant?
That was me.
Okay, so this is like the polar opposite of that. So
Uh-huh.
how did you make that move?
So I was living in Australia for a few years.
Which I saw. That's really cool. Yeah.
For an accounting job. And when I moved there, I did not know a single person.
Sure.
And I was just looking for things to fill my time. I had done a little bit of group fitness before I moved there. Reformer Pilates was not a big thing in the U.S., or at least not in Arizona
Sure.
at the time. And I found a studio, and I just fell in love with the workout and kept going. And then I came back, and I just knew I wanted to do something else. And the opportunity presented itself not long after to do a teacher training program and started working for the studio. And the owners of that studio kind of recognized the skill set that I had outside of teaching and offered me a full-time position. So
cool.
I was able to make the jump pretty easily, but the accounting and business skills have definitely come in hand as
Love it.
well, owning our
So
business.
like according to TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff, I'm surprised you made it out of Australia. Because apparently like everything wants to kill you there. Is that kind of the thing, right?
Yeah, that's how they make it seem, but
Right.
not too bad when you're...
Totally. So how did you two meet?
We used to work together.
Okay.
So I was a teacher there, and so was she. And we didn't.
Oh, this
really,
is the same Pilates studio.
Yeah.
Okay,
mhm.
cool.
And we really didn't cross paths that often.
No.
And she reached out to me because I had done a comprehensive training program, which was just like the next step with where we were going. And she wanted to do it too. But she emailed me and asked if we could go to lunch.
Love
and
it.
I thought I was in trouble because I was a little rogue. So I thought, oh, here we go. I'm going to get in
So
trouble.
you're the troublemaker of the two. Is that where we're at
for
on this?
sure.
I'm the rule follower.
Yes,
She's a troublemaker.
Yes, for sure.
I love it.
So we just started talking, and then she went through the program as well, and we sort of connected through that. And then she basically convinced me to do all this.
I love it.
So, yeah.
So was it
Talked
always
me
a
into
plan
it.
to be where you're at now? Or like, I mean, because you opened up a first
No.
studio.
Gosh, not at
Right.
all.
Where's the first studio at?
It's in McCormick Ranch, so we're
Oh, okay.
right off
Cool.
Hayden and via
Yeah.
Dave Ventura.
So we don't talk about the competition, but you're right by the village, basically, right?
We're close, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few that are
Okay.
close to us, but
Sure.
we actually really were dead set on being in Old Town, which I'm glad that we're not
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But we thought that would be a great central location for
Sure.
us, and we had a couple LOIs that just fell through, and we found the space that we have now, and it was perfect.
Love it. Yeah.
And it's just been, we've never had to advertise or anything. We've had such great like walk by traffic, and we're just right in the middle.
How
of the
cool. That's
neighborhood.
fantastic.
Yeah, we got very lucky.
I love it. So why the evolution? Why go into DC Ranch? Just, more opportunity, more chance? What are we thinking?
A few different things. We're kind of busting at the seams
Okay,
at
sure.
McCormick Ranch, so capacity. And we do have some clients that will be able to go to both or
Sure.
live in a way that is central to both. But I think the other part is we saw how much the community grew around the studio.
Right.
And we just really loved what we were doing. We also started training instructors, which is a passion of...
So you're like a teaching studio, huh?
We do that as well.
And how does that work? I mean, is like there's certification behind that whole thing? So you had to get certified to be a teacher, and then you had to certify to teach teachers, the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we developed our own program about a year ago.
Also your idea.
I just make Jackie go along with
Yeah,
my
I just
ideas.
go along with it. But yeah, we started our own. We had originally gotten a program to run, and then we just really found that we were adjusting a lot of things to make it fit
Sure.
our teachers. And just Scottsdale, we're very lucky to have everybody comes in with knowledge of group fitness and expectations of what they think classes should be like. We have some awesome fitness studios around here. So we just adjusted our program to fit sort of what we were doing. And it was a huge undertaking. It was like crazy. And we both have children. And we are running a business and all of these other things. So every time we pile these things on our plate, it's just like.
So have you guys been in business before? Like, have you had your own business before?
No.
Oh my gosh! So that was that was an insane learning curve, huh?
Yeah. And did you see when we opened?
Well, I saw it's in April, right?
It was,
the first studio.
2 months before COVID.
Oh, fantastic, right? That's great.
So it was a really good trial by fire.
Yeah.
But we made it.
Well, how did you make it through, right? I mean, because this is an in-person thing, right?
Yeah. So we opened in January of 2020. I think we shut down for the first time in March. And over that first year of business, we shut down 5 separate times to the point where we had to close the studio, cancel classes, let everyone know. And we just, one of the things that we decided early on as like a core value of our business is to make every decision that's in the best interest of our clients. And
usually works out at the end of the day.
Well, there were times when we weren't necessarily forced to close or there wasn't a mandated closure, but we knew that there was COVID in the studio or whatever it was. And so we just tried to be really transparent and communicative with our clients and just genuine. I mean, it was really heartbreaking for us to have gone through the process to finally get the doors open. And then to have.
But you kind of had to watch the checking account balance going down, right? I mean, that's
a
little bit of stress, right?
It was. We had some things that were on our side. We weren't paying rent at the time.
That's cool.
Our TI money had just kicked in. I had another full-time job.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But this is also when you got pregnant.
Oh, I also,
wow. So let's just pile it all on. We're going to do a new business, COVID, and get pregnant in the same time.
Yeah. It was great. It was a fun year.
But we had, people that we had known from other studios we had taught at that they were there on our first day and they were waiting for us to open our doors. And so they were people that were very loyal to us.
Yeah, totally. I love that.
And really just wanted to support us through that time. And no one really knew what was going to happen, how long we would be closed for, if we would be able to reopen. But we we had some awesome clients that just stuck by our side.
Good for you guys. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's a handful.
Lucky. It was a lot. It's a weird thing to look back on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole world looks back on it like, what the hell just happened? It's like, what was this thing? But, whatever. We'll stay away from that one because if we start talking about COVID, like, everybody will freak out. There's nothing we can absolutely do about that. So tell me, like, what do you guys do? I mean, what's your avatar? What's your perfect person? Or who do you look to help? What's kind of your mission as far as your, the clientele that you bring in the door?
We take everyone. So we're really proud of that. I think our classes are designed to be all levels. And anything goes with that. So sometimes we have, people walk in that we're like, all right, let's make this work. But we really love the way that our teachers teach their classes. And it's been really hammered in by us that it's supposed to fit everybody and it should be accommodating but challenging for everyone. So our classes are structured so that anybody at any level can come in and take a class. I think all of our teachers are just really caring and genuine in how they approach teaching. So it's a great environment for everyone. And then we also have a private Pilates program, which is suitable for anybody. So we work with athletes, all the way to people who...
So is that like more the one-on-one kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a one-on-one, and we have a great team of teachers that are just really knowledgeable and educated and can work with anything that comes in the door. So sometimes it's just people who like the one-on-one attention, and then sometimes it's people who just really need some extra care. And so we have just been really successful with kind of bringing everyone in where they're at and making it work. And it's just such a cool environment. We do have a lot of moms, and we're moms, so we're really accommodating and understanding with like last minute schedule changes and sick kids and all that. And I think that's really like got us in a nice pocket with that group. We're probably expecting the same at BC Ranch. And we've just been so fortunate to have really awesome clients.
I love it. That's cool.
We both worked at studios that has not always been the case.
Sure.
But we really treat the studio and our teachers, we recognize we're in the service industry, and that's just really important to us.
So, the average person just walking by that has no clue what Pilates is, right? So they shouldn't be worried at all, right? I mean, they can walk in and talk to you.
Yes.
It's really easy going. They don't have to be intimidated by it. It's totally open and come on in, right?
Yeah, come on in. It is a very intimidating thing. I think people look at the equipment and they're just like...
Without a doubt, right? Because if you don't know what's going on, it's like, I don't know.
And we have these huge windows, and I always laugh when I'm teaching, and I'll vocalize it because people will look through the windows.
Totally.
It's
like you're in the fishbowl.
We're doing in here because sometimes it's very odd.
Right.
I always tell my classes we'll be doing something, and I'm like, if someone were to walk by right now, they would not think that you were working.
They might be calling 911 or something,
and
right?
the person on the reformer is like, shake it, but it doesn't, from the outside view, doesn't look like maybe they're doing a whole lot.
Right.
But
so what's the class look like? I mean, how many people are in the class? And
so our McCormick Ranch studio has 10 reformers.
Okay.
So 10 spots. DC Ranch will have 8 to start. We started with 8 in McCormick Ranch as well, and as the studio grew, we had the space to add a few more. So we'll kind of do the same thing with DC Ranch. We'll grow.
Which space is bigger?
DC Ranch.
Oh, it is.
Square
Okay.
footage wise is best.
So you got a little bit more space to grow in there for sure. And you guys, is it like a monthly membership, or is it pay as you go, or how do you handle that?
We have a ton of different options. We have 3 memberships. We have an 8 class per month membership. We have an unlimited, and then we offer like an upfront year unlimited membership.
A discounted membership for the year.
Yeah.
Send us in the cash. I own a business too, so I totally get it.
Yeah. And then we also have class packages.
Right.
So 10 classes, 20 classes, and drop-ins. But our classes never expire.
Okay.
So that's not something that's that common in sort of boutique fitness.
It's usually 6 months or a year or something, and it's over. Yeah,
but we really believe that if someone's, making the commitment to purchase something, that they should be able to use that for
100%.
We're able to offer that service.
So are you doing anything for the opening because I know that when you opened the first one, there was no marketing or advertising or anything, right?
It was all word of mouth.
Yeah, which is killer. That's really, really cool. So are you doing the same thing with DC Ranch? I mean, obviously not, because we're here on a podcast, right? But what's that look like? I mean, how are you guys promoting this one?
Yeah, so we are going to offer some founders rates for our grand opening specials. We'll do a big discounted membership for all of the options, and then we're also going to do discounted class packages. So we have flash sales a few times a year that do
That's cool.
really, really well.
Right.
And it's just great because it just hooks people at the right time, and they just keep coming back. And we always are looking, okay, they're starting to use the end of their flash sales, got to do another one. So we'll use those flash sale prices, and we're just going to make it a big party, and we really honestly don't know what to expect.
Yeah. You know what? It's a great area, right? You should kill it, I would think.
I think
Why did you pick DC Ranch? I mean, there was a building, or was it?
The space.
It's beautiful.
We knew we wanted to expand. That was not necessarily the part of town that we were looking in.
Sure.
But we weren't finding much, and our agent said, "Hey, let's kind of go outside those areas. Let me see what I can find." That space came up. We looked at it once and we made an offer and signed the lease. Like, the space itself is just perfect. Like she said, the center itself is beautiful, and that part of town, you can't beat it. So
no, totally. I agree. I love it.
Really
I live there, so it's really, really cool.
To be up there.
Pretty.
I think it has that same community feel that McCormick Ranch has.
So did you have to add teachers? I mean, is it more staff, or are you just kind of running everybody to figure it out? Or
we've had to add a few. When we opened the studio, there were 4 of us, so 2 other instructors.
Us,
Oh, wow, okay.
Only 4.
Wow.
How many do we have
11.
now? 11 instructors.
And I would imagine classes are like 7 days a week from early in the morning to late at night, right?
Yeah.
So you had no breaks. I mean, basically.
Oh, no, I was teaching the 6 a.m. class. I was going to my other job, and then I was coming back and teaching in the evening.
It's crazy.
And weekends, everything.
We were there constantly. So we have a really great group of teachers, and they just wanted more hours.
Sure.
So it made it really easy to sit down. And we plan our year up front, so we printed out these big schedules. And was like, all right, let's go. And we just gave everybody more. And we also had some really awesome teachers coming out of our teacher training program.
Oh, true. That's cool.
And one of the things with the teacher training program is, we get these great teachers and we're happy to send them out to other studios and send them out into the community. But we're also like, we want
we want you.
So
we want you to stay here.
Being able to give them, and they happen to all be women and young women, the opportunity to teach full time is something like, we will not stop building studios to be able to give them that opportunity, because her and I know what it's like to run around all over different places and just try to make ends meet, and it's just something we don't want them to have.
So I think you kind of snuck in there, like 2 is not the end. Is that where we're at?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, so what's the big picture? I mean, what do you see?
I'm talking right. In my mind, and Ariel and I try to make it a point to go to other studios when we travel and just kind of really keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on. In my brain, I don't understand why there wouldn't be a workshop in every city.
Sure.
That's where I'm at.
So that's a lot.
I know, but we are growing conscientiously.
Sure.
I think her and I both really needed to get a handle on our roles separately.
Right.
What I handle and she handles, and then what we come together for. And then just starting to put together a staff that makes sense for us, that's more management roles.
Sure.
We added a manager last year, which has been life-saving, and we just added an assistant manager. So we're trying to grow in a way that brings everybody up and makes sense, and also frees up our time so that we can dream and scheme.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So as business owners, I mean, was that hard? Like, because, not only are you new business owners, right? Had never done it before, but you're also partners, right? And partners is tough. I mean, it can be challenging. How did you guys work through, this is your job, this is my job, because that's a really hard thing to do.
Honestly, that's been one of the easiest parts.
Really?
Which
that's cool.
I know is not normal.
Right.
I think we had a unique situation going into it where we weren't necessarily close friends or coworkers, but we realized very early on that we had a complementary skill set.
Sure.
The things that I do, Jackie does not want to touch for the 10-foot pole.
So who's running the books?
No, it's
there
me.
you go.
And I don't want to
see
do
these spreadsheets.
Right.
I don't want to see. Just give me a full picture.
Sure.
And I don't really want to touch anything with like marketing or.
Right.
I mean, this studio, it looks beautiful, and that's all her.
Love it. That's so cool.
Pinterest.
Yeah. But yeah, so that, I mean, I think the other thing is that we're just really good at making decisions.
Sure.
And we listen to each other, but we also kind of stay in our own lane and trust that the other person is going to make the right call.
Sure.
And we don't waver, and we don't, we're just not indecisive.
Stick with
we
the
make
path,
a decision, we go with it, we make sure that it works, and we just move forward.
Right.
So we're not getting stuck in the weeds.
Sure, totally.
Well, we have this great plan that we love to go bowling.
So do I, actually, which is a riot. Where are you guys bowling at? Where are you Bolero, or what are we doing?
What's the new place by us that we've been
Mavericks?
going?
Mavericks, yeah, totally cool.
So we had this great plan. If we ever have any disagreements,
you can go bowl it out.
Go bowling, which isn't fair because she is way better than I am.
Well, you got to handicap, right? You got to handicap it.
We've never had to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, so this has never happened.
No. I mean, we still go
cool.
bowling for fun sometimes.
Yeah,
but
totally.
Never had to settle.
Right. Anything.
Yeah.
Well, when you guys do, call me, because that'd be kind of cool. I mean, honestly, that's pressure, right?
It's like really been a very smooth ride.
Yeah.
And I always joke, we're just like bound. It's a different kind of thing. It's not like, best friends or whatever. We're bound together in a really interesting way.
Love that.
And yeah, I think we just have done a really good job of finding our strengths. Now, early on, we were like, is this okay? Is this okay?
Yeah, totally. Right.
And then
well, there's that comfort level.
You have to build confidence to say, I can handle this, and you can handle that, and then I don't need
let it
to
go.
be involved in
the let it go is the hardest part sometimes,
it is
right?
really hard.
Yeah.
So, and now I think the thing that's been more challenging than us creating like a synchronicity, is that a word?
We'll go with it. Synchronicity. Sounds really good.
Bringing staff in.
Well, right. I was going to ask you that. That's a hard one.
That has been so hard for me because for so long it was just, I do this and you do that, and we have our own timing and method. And now as we look to growing, we have to make those things a process. And it's been challenging to say, like, this gets done at this time and just start to put boundaries and timelines.
Well, the systems and everything else. Yeah, that's the hardest part, right?
And again, we're very lucky with the people that we've chosen to put in those places, but just coming up with that stuff's been kind of...
They're never allowed to leave us, ever.
So I would imagine, like, the teachers aren't as hard as, like, staff, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the teachers kind of have their class, they do their thing, right? But actually bringing somebody in to either run your front desk or your books or the phones or whatever, that's the part that's tough, huh?
Well, and that's part of making it feasible for some of our instructors to do this full time is to give them opportunities outside
the support.
of teaching.
Yeah, totally.
And then they have a pulse of, what's going on in the studio. They know our clients, they know our systems.
Right.
And so giving them some more responsibilities and also tapping into what they're interested in and what their skill sets are.
Right.
So we have implemented like reviews where we check in, and it's really an opportunity for our instructors to tell us what they want out of their experience working at the workshops.
Yeah, so they can bring it to you. This is how we'd like to make it better or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's killer.
Well, we have, as independent contractors in other places that we've worked or taught, you're just out on your own.
Right.
You come to the studio, you're there by yourself, you teach your classes, and you leave, and that's kind of it. So we have really wanted to grow them professionally.
Sure.
And say, if somebody, at least what I'm very passionate about with teacher training is making sure that they know if you are wanting to do this job and you want to help people in this way, let's make that available to you. You shouldn't have to suffer or have to work at 10 different places and then bartend on the side.
Right, yeah, 100%.
Let's make this happen for you.
So it can be a real career, right? I mean, it can be an actual career.
So. Yeah, and the path used to be always as a teacher that you would then open up your own studio. That was it. And unfortunately, not everybody's suited for business.
Right,
so
yeah, totally.
That doesn't always
And
work
some people
well.
just don't want it, right?
No,
it's like they just don't want that.
You burn out because you're exhausted from teaching so many hours a week.
And then you got to get in QuickBooks and whatever. So I mean, that's
it's a lot of different skills.
It's a lot of different skills. And so what we want to do is just make sure that we are giving them those opportunities. And a lot of that has been us moving out of the way.
Sure.
Which has been hard on us.
It's like giving up a little bit of the baby a little bit, right?
Yeah. And just, we're not, I don't teach group classes. I just teach privates, and we've really thinned out our schedules because now we have 2 businesses to run. And it's a lot of trust, and we fully do trust them, but it's also us kind of stepping into a new role.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Which is exciting. That's cool. But I mean, so take it like to this super high level, right? Is there a Pilates studio that's nationwide? That's like, I mean, does that exist?
Yeah. There's one national
franchise level.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we have this.
Here's the big vision.
Like,
Here's the vision board is coming out right now, right?
She's like starting to.
Yeah, totally.
I just think that we have created a really cool environment,
right?
And I think that is something that we can obviously replicate in some ways visually and with the classes and all of that stuff. But I think that our plan, what we'd like to try to do, is find some anchor points in different cities of people that we know and trust,
right?
And then kind of feel out their interest level.
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of times we happen to be a very aesthetically pleasing, very Instagrammable studio.
Sure.
So a lot of people come and visit, and we get asked all the time, would you ever consider putting a studio here, here? And I think, where the bigger franchises have lost some of their touch is that they are just franchising to, whoever is interested in doing
Whoever's
that.
got the $29.9 or whatever.
Right. And
Yeah.
we're growing teachers, and we want to grow teachers into these roles. And
well, what an amazing path, though, right? I mean, if you got to that point and you're developing your own future franchise owners, right? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, and
that's
we
really
just
cool.
think, let's go to places we want to visit.
Sure,
and
totally.
we want to spend a lot of time in.
So we're going to Hawaii. And we're doing,
exactly. And all tropical locations.
Yep.
But there really is, I think what we did very thoughtfully and well is that we took what we saw was happening in the industry from, like, let's just say in America, where I have education from Australia and so does Ariel with Pilates, and they're very front of the line.
So both of you have been involved in Pilates in Australia?
Well,
I haven't gone, but I would like to, a research trip. But I just finished a year-long program through one of their Pilates schools for clinical Pilates. And
is Australia like a Pilates hotbed?
Yes, it is. Okay. Weirdly enough, I don't think.
So I didn't know that, but I mean, it's kind of seems to be coming out.
Yeah,
why?
Yeah.
Everything is so pretty there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think because their healthcare system really integrates alternative methods of exercise, and so there's a lot
preventive
of physiologists who work in the Pilates space there. It's not odd to see a physical therapist that also teaches Pilates. So it's just really integrated into their system there. And I don't know, it's just, we really looked at all of that stuff that was happening there, also looked at everything that was happening here, and said, how can we make this better and bridge some gaps? Sure. And I think that's where we've been really successful. And it's simple. It's simple stuff. Yeah. It's just like, what is an experience that we'd like a client to have when they come in here?
Well, you develop a killer culture, right?
Yeah, and just thinking about it from adding a personal touch on those things. And we do realize as we grow that it'll be harder for us to do that. But that's why we're putting people in place that can do that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, as long as it supports your goals and whatever in the system, that's really, really cool. So outside of the growth, and I mean, you guys are here in Scottsdale. What do you think? I mean, is this a good place to have started it? Yes. Do you feel like it's a good location?
The best. So one of the reasons why we called it the Workshop is because our initial plan was to not only teach Pilates and have classes and privates, but to also host monthly or periodic workshops in the space that were for our clients, that were things that were, within the wellness sphere.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But also things that would help enhance the community, get people a chance to actually connect outside of just their 45 minutes of exercising in there. COVID derailed that a little bit.
Big hit on the workshop.
Right? We're going to have to all be 6 feet apart, It's like, that makes it tough for the workshop deal.
Yeah. So we are this year really just kind of getting our momentum back with that. But being in Scottsdale is so wonderful for that, because we have access to all this great community and other wellness professionals and other just cool stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of really amazing things. I moved here from New York, and I was just telling someone the other day who's new here from San Diego, I said, it took me so long to find my people here. Yeah, totally. But once I did, they're out there. Right. So and Ariel grew up here. So
are you native?
Really juiced in.
I moved here when I was in middle school.
Okay, cool. That's about as close as it gets, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love it.
It's funny because where the McCormick Ranch studio is, I grew up playing soccer at Chaparral Park. Sure. So I would drive down Hayden every day to get to soccer practice, and there was a TCBY that used to be in there. And I always joke that I single-handedly kept that TCBY in business because I stopped after soccer practice every night. So it was funny when we found this space and it was in there, and I was like, oh yeah, I've spent a lot of time here. Yeah.
So I mean, one thing that's kind of cool, right? I mean, I'm so happy you guys got a second studio coming in your opening, but the timing's great, right? Because I mean, if you would have done it 3 weeks ago, it would have been a train wreck. You know what I mean? With the traffic, I mean, how is that?
I know. It's something we're going to really have to think about for next year. Yeah. I had to go up there a few times to meet our contractor, and
it was a mess, right?
Back roads, and it's something we will have to think about for next year, at least with ease of access and.
At least there won't be the Super Bowl here. It'll just be the open, but that's still enough traffic to open every year.
Hopefully, people are coming down to the studio. But timing wise, this has been great for us because I think we needed to really find our footing. Sure. If we didn't lose the year, but we felt a little behind. Right. Maybe it would have happened sooner, but I do feel like this is kind of the best timing for us, and it's been hard to. That's a month away.
Yeah, totally. It's really crazy.
It's a month away.
Are we ready for this? If you walked into the studio today, is it ready?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
No. You would not actually be able to imagine that it could be ready in a month.
Yes, but now we know. I think the first time that we went through this process, it was
the stress level was through the roof, right?
Stressful and uncertain.
Right.
Whereas now, and I always equate it to if I was going to have a second child.
Sure.
I would just be like, oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. It's cool. It's going to work out.
You're fine. We'll make sure you're fed. It's like we're just going with it and trying to. I think the thing that's been challenging for me is just trying to enjoy it,
right?
Because the first time was so stressful.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And I mean, it really is pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
It's floors, paint, mirror,
right?
But
Equipment, put it in, go. And here we are.
We take it so seriously.
Yeah, totally.
Like we're gonna bring people into this space, and it's
right.
important to us energetically that it's great, and so we're trying to enjoy it a little bit more.
So did you work with like, outside help? I mean, like, I don't know, do you use interior designers or do you use industrial designers or anybody, or you guys just know what you're doing? This is what we want it to be.
Yeah, Jackie designed, the
first time, we were very lucky because our contractor was a very good close friend of Ariel's. And I am the kind of person, everyone always says, your studio is so beautiful. And it's white and black.
Right.
You can't go wrong with white and black.
Yeah, totally.
A lot of natural light.
Just couldn't make any decisions about color. So everything is white or black. And same with my house. But this new space,
that is fantastic. I love that. That's great, right?
Gray.
Oh, really?
Add a little gray to the studio. No, I think that we got very lucky first time around. He really held my hand through it because it's hard for me to see
visualize
big picture.
Yeah.
You look at an empty box.
Oh, yeah.
And this space now was an office, so there were all these offices, and we were like, I'm sure it'll work.
We'll figure it out. We'll knock some of this down.
And then they knocked some of it down, and we're like, okay, we're going to need to knock more down. But I struggled with seeing things visually, and now I think we've created an aesthetic that's very easy to replicate. And what I'm planning to do is really elevate the DC Ranch location so that it's, up the things that we've learned with McCormick that look good or last. Add that, take it up a notch, and then bring that back down to McCormick.
Right.
It's just it'll be very simple.
It's a lab. It's a little bit of a lab for you, right?
It's fun.
That's kind of cool.
It's really
Second
fun.
chance.
And now I'm just like, I'm positive I could build a house. It's really increased my confidence.
No, you're not allowed to do that if we're opening a studio in every city.
I can tell you firsthand, building a house is all time consuming. It takes over
I'm sure,
everything.
you know all about.
Yeah, it will take over everything. So tell, how do we find you? Website, phone numbers, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, we have it all. Oh, another thing we've decided to add to our plate during this time is getting our own app.
Oh, that's cool. Right.
We are launching that next week on the 1st. So
that's really cool. So it's going to be all the classes and everything.
Everything is going to be
I love it.
Place.
That's really cool.
So that is just on the App Store. You can just search Workshop Pilates for that. We have a website, workshoppilates.com, that's really informative.
Sure.
A lot of websites you go to, you can't figure out pricing, all
what's
that
going
stuff.
on.
We put it all out there.
Right.
And then I think our Instagram is probably our most popular place to get news and up-to-date information, and that's just the Workshop Pilates. So we're always available via phone, but what's great about our app is there'll be messaging. You can book everything in there.
Sure, that's really cool.
It's really, we're very excited. It was
very
another big undertaking.
Very user friendly, and anyone will just be able to find out everything that's happening in the studio.
Sure.
At both locations.
Totally.
Through the app. So.
And you guys, again, 7 days a week, classes from early in the morning till late at night, the whole thing?
We start, our earliest class on Monday through Friday is either 6 or 6:30 a.m. And then all the way through 6 p.m. We just added a Friday 4 and 5 p.m. in McCormick Ranch, just to help ease some of that capacity. And then we're open Saturdays and Sundays as well. So we have
that's
a ton
fantastic.
of classes on the schedule.
And how many teachers are you guys up to now?
We have 9, and then with us too, there's 11.
Oh, wow.
And we're going through another teacher training program now with amazing students. We're really excited. So
I love it.
We're growing.
So totally outside of Pilates, this is my favorite question to ask everybody that comes on this podcast. Favorite restaurant in Scottsdale? Oh, I know, right? Everybody's like,
That's a tough
put you
one.
Put you right under the gun here. It's a tough.
I know, and I feel like I'm in Old Town, so I heavy into the Mission.
Yeah.
Love the Mission.
Yeah, totally.
I'd say F&B.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Cool.
F&B.
Yeah.
And a little sneaky DeFalco's.
Oh,
I'm from
my
New York,
gosh,
so
the bomb, right? Yeah, that place is amazing.
It's amazing.
It is.
So
it's always a huge line, but
went
amazing.
through Super Bowl traffic, too.
Yeah, totally.
DeFalco's a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I go down there about once a week. It's pretty easy because it's right down the street.
So what's yours?
Oh, gosh, they're throwing a curveball back at me, right? So Honestly, I love Dominic's, so that would be my
Okay,
favorite one, right? Because that's like the old Mastro's crew.
Yeah.
And I love Mastro's, but it's a chain now, so I mean, whatever. It's
Yeah.
still really good. But so that's the OG kind of steak guys in Scottsdale. So I love the
Yeah.
place, and it's close to the house and whatever.
Okay.
So it works out good.
Yeah.
But cool. Thank you so much, ladies. We're looking
Thank
forward to the
you.
next studio. Everybody, this is John, obviously, from Scottsdale Living, in between two cacti. Jackie and Ariel from Workshop Pilates. And congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
fantastic.
Thanks
Thank you for
having
being
us
here.
on.
Thank
we'll
you
have
so
to,
much.
for your viewers,
Absolutely.
have you come in and do a Pilates session.
We will do this, and we will not video the first one, right? Okay,
I think you'll love it.
the second one we can videotape. The first one
Okay.
I don't think so.
Deal.
But cool,
Perfect.
love it. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Absolutely.